My kindergarten teacher told me I'd never learn to read. 20 years later, I walked into a bookstore and couldn't believe who I saw. When I was 5, I struggled with letters, while other kids were sounding out simple words. I was still mixing up B's and D's, seeing letters jump around the page. My kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Peterson, made her frustration clear. Some children just aren't meant to be readers, she told my mom during a parent-teacher conference I wasn't supposed to hear. Maybe focus on his other skills instead. My mom, a single parent working 2 jobs, refused to accept this. That night, she sat me down and made a promise. We're going to prove her wrong. For the next year, we spent 30 minutes every night reading together. My mom couldn't afford tutors, but she borrowed books from the library and created games to help me recognize letters. She'd tape words all over our tiny apartment refrigerator door, window, and give me $1 for every 10 I could identify. I'd cry from frustration, and sometimes my mom would too, though she'd turn away so I wouldn't see. By 1st grade, I was still behind, but I was catching up by 3rd grade. Something clicked, letters stopped jumping, and words became friends instead of enemies. By 5th grade, I was reading 2 years above my level. My teachers called it a miracle. My mom called it persistent. I never forgot Mrs. Peterson's words, though. They followed me through high school, college, and eventually to graduate school, where I specialized in educational psychology with a focus on learning disabilities. I wanted to understand what had happened to me. What I later learned was dyslexia, and help other kids who were being written off too early. Last weekend, I was in my hometown for a conference where I'd presented research on early intervention for reading difficulties. I stopped by a local bookstore to pick up a gift for my mom. As I browsed the education section, I noticed an elderly woman struggling to reach a book on a high shelf. I grabbed it for her, and when she turned to thank me, I froze. It was Mrs. Peterson, now in her 70s, but unmistakable. "Thank you, young man," she said, not recognizing me. I smiled. "You are welcome. I am actually Dr. James Miller. You are my kindergarten teacher." Her face showed no recognition. "You told my mother I'd never learn to read," I added quietly, handing her the book, ironically titled Supporting Struggling Readers. Her face fell as recognition dawned. I said that instead of the satisfaction I'd imagined in this moment. I felt something unexpected, compassion. She was just a teacher without training in learning disabilities, faced with a classroom of 30 kids and limited resources. "You did," I said, "but you also taught me my first sight word stop. I still remember how you made it into a game." I handed her my card with my university affiliation and specialty. "I'm speaking tomorrow about dyslexia interventions. You are welcome to attend." Sometimes our biggest setbacks lead us exactly where we're meant to go. The words we hear as children echo throughout our lives. Sometimes the greatest achievement isn't proving someone wrong, it's understanding why they were wrong in the first place.